Hey everyone, we're going to start the live video fairly soon. We're just waiting for everyone to join and watch, and then once we get a few subscribers watching, we will start. Okay, perfect. We got 4 people. Alrighty, guys, so welcome to another episode of Not the G Word podcast. Today we got very special surprise for you guys. Today we are dedicating our podcast to Phase 2. And we have, as always, Mr. Riff 170. We have CHOR Boogie. And we have Apex. So we got some questions for these guys about Phase 2. So let's get this started. Okay, so this question's for all of you guys. So when did you guys first meet Phase 2? Who would like to start? We'll let Riff start.
Well, I met Phase like in 71 when Chris and Bonanza and HRJ took me up to Clinton High School to a place called Marty's Coffee Shop. And all the brothers from Clinton High School was in there, and that's where a majority of writers were going to school at. And Phase was sitting in there, Lionel was sitting in there, Lee 163rd, Dice 198, and so on. And Chris and Bonanza was like, oh, you can't go up to Phase and just talk to him like that, because he's one of the more important guys in the culture. And I
just speak a little bit louder. People can't hear you.
He was more of one of the most important guys in the culture. And they said that the only way you could really get to speak to these brothers is if you were known. And at the time, I was just getting up. And I went over there and I extended my hand to Phase. And I said hello to him, and he asked me, did I write? And I said, yes. And he said, what do you tag? And I said, Riff 170. No, matter of fact, I didn't say Riff 170. I said, I wrote it down, and he said, Riff? And I said, no, it's Riff 170. He said, oh, the last 2 letters on the name look like S's. And I said, no, there was this line that goes through and drops down to make the 170. And he said, oh, now that's fly. And then as I was talking with him, in the cast of Marty's Coffee Shop, everybody was there. And all I heard was like a chorus of toy, and I was told that if you wasn't really up, that they would do that. And so, I was a little out of it, but I wasn't tore up.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead, man. Sorry. I'm playing in the background. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'm interfering. Clowns are clowning.
So from then on, Phase was like, yo, you can hang out with me, Shorty. Here's my number. And as you know, it was in 71, so we didn't have cell phones and things. We had home phones, landlines, and that's how we kept in touch. And every time I would call him, he would say, so what you want to do? You want to hang out? You want to go writing or what? And I would like, yeah, of course. And we would go. But those are my fond memories of him, of hanging out and first meeting him, the way he extended himself to me. And he really respected who I was, even though, like I said, all the people in this said toy, because they really didn't see my name up like that. So you had to be kind of sort of up so you have the rite of passage to even go around telling people who you were if you chose to tell them.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Riff. So, Apex, when did you first meet FaZe?
Me and Chor were just trying to figure that one out. It was through Vulcan. You know, Vulcan is someone who always is out there searching, like, who's the next one, who's doing what. I need to know. So through that connect, you know, he's telling Riff, he's telling, like, what do you do? You know, he's telling True, like, yo, these cats out west, look what they doing. And I think it was one trip I was out here and we were walking around and we just kind of ran into him.
Oh, okay.
But it was brief. That wasn't like no real connectivity. I'm having to like think about it. I don't think too much backwards.
Yeah.
And then like really substantial hanging out and doing stuff was in 2007 when we all went on a trip and we all painted together.
Nice.
But before that, you know, conversations here and there, but it was really me and Vulcan like having the connect.
Yeah.
And then after we all, you know, we chopped it up on the phone, whatever.
Yeah.
But like actually in person hanging out, yeah, that would be 2007.
Okay.
And then after that, you know, a lot of stories that people shared of, you know, just when you're walking that right path, you run into people on the street or other people, you know, and that was always something that would happen.
Yeah.
With Riff, with Vulcan, with FaZe. It was one of those. And then immediately it's like, oh, link up, what you doing? Oh, okay. So it was always the initial link kind of got blurred in my brain and more of like all the stories and everything.
Yeah.
It becomes just like this time warp because it's like, you know, time don't really matter. You know, with these heads, with the fam. But yeah, somewhere in that time period, like 05, 07.
Okay. All right. CHOR BOOGIE.
I forgot my necklace, but yo, this necklace right here, you know, FaZe made these for his brothers.
Yeah.
You know, if you weren't an innovator, best of the best, you know, Knight of the Round Table, a game changer, you know, you brought something to the table, you would get one of these.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yo, my first interaction with FaZe, that's why we was fucking around in the background. Yo, it's all through Vulcan.
Yeah.
10%. Like, the dude wanted to, you know, like he said, Vulcan was a digger, a crate digger. You know, for the ones, you know, the Jedis. And so I ended up being a roommate with Vulcan for like 2 years in San Francisco, a studio roommate. That's like we had a little art thing going on, and you know, Vulcan was filling me out, and he was like, "Okay, it's about that time. You know, it's about that time to connect you with FaZe." So, you know, Vulcan hooked me up with FaZe over the phone, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's 4 hours later. You know, you're getting deep enthralled in the history of writing.
Yeah.
The history of what this culture really is all about. So that I would have to say that was at least, you know, 15 years ago, man. Yeah. That was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
You know, compared to Riff when, you know, they grew up as, you know, kids together, you know what I'm saying? But like, but when we first, like, you know, met him in person was, I'd have to say it was 2007 when we painted in Minneapolis. We got a project, some nonprofit that you know wanted you know some history, you know, from past, present, and future.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To speak at the Walker and do this big gigantic mural collabo, and that's what we did in Minneapolis. And my first reaction with FaZe was like when he saw me paint, he was watching for a minute, and he was just like, "Yo, what planet are you from?" You know what I'm saying? And like, I was like, "Word." And we've been brothers ever since. And he dropped the fucking letter C in my piece, just like didn't even ask nothing. He just did it and said, "Fill it in." And I said, "Okay." And then we collabed right there. That was like our first collaboration.
Nice.
When we first met. So. And then
he jumped on the roof.
Yeah, then he jumped. Yeah, and then we jumped on the roof, and then he did the same with Apex, and then I hopped on the other side. So
yeah,
man, that was our first
Reaction
interaction with
the Instagram
Phase 2.
Right now.
well, thank you for that, Chor Boogie.
Yeah.
All right, so the next question, I guess we'll start with Riff again. How did Phase 2 influence you?
Well, his tag was unique, and I liked the way he did it, along with a few other brothers that had unique tags, and that made me want to have a really unique hand style. And that's how he influenced me to really have something that was totally different from everyone else's.
Yeah. Alrighty. Apex, how did Phase 2 influence you?
That was like, he influenced me, like, life-wise, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
all around, not just, like, style wasn't just, and it isn't just what you paint, you know? Like, it was, we would talk, and then we would rarely even talk about writing.
Yeah.
It was all about culture. It was all about everything else, you know, and connecting the dots on, true mathematics, connecting the math on everything else and how it all folds upon one another, builds off of one another.
Yeah.
So he influenced me on, out in San Francisco, I always felt, I had a community, but then in my own like little secret world of digging and wanting to really understand why things were the way that they were, to be able to talk to him like source, was it was a way for me to do checks and balances of what I envisioned or what I thought I came across. Yeah, researching in the culture, and that to be able to have that direct contact and link with him, and then just he share that would. You marinate on that, and then later it influences your writing. Yeah. But at the same time, you're if you have an idea of what something was, or if you heard through somebody else who wasn't there and they're telling a story, and however it gets lost, it's lost information and that you're getting, so you can be lost. But if you're getting it straight from a source, then you immediately go, your path becomes more true. Yeah. And then when you search inside yourself, you're sourcing from the truth versus this lost story that was in a magazine or a book or something. So for me, like, to be able to walk through and somebody's talking about something style-wise, like, to know what was really behind it. Yeah. Like, oh, okay, it's not going to steer me off on that road. I'm going to stay right here where I'm at and do what I do. So that's my answer to, like, how he influenced me. All right. That day-to-day.
All right, that's sweet, man. Chor Boogie, how did Phase influence you?
How did Phase influence me? So, it has to go off like this. One of the first things I ever saw within this culture was some of Phase's artwork. Yeah. The dude was just not from this freaking planet. Like, the guy was next level. He was ahead of his time. So when I first saw him when I was a kid, I was like, yo, I'm going to be just like Phase 2, but with characters. Yeah. Because everybody and their freaking grandmother was a writer and shit, was painting letters and shit. So I was like, no, I'm going down the character route and shit. So yeah, I wanted to be him, but with characters.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So, took a while to get there, but yeah, that was like my first inspiration with him.
Okay.
And then, you know, just feeding off what Apex says, yeah, it was more than just art. It was like life on life skills. You know what I'm saying? It was like the dude basically unplugs you from the freaking Matrix, and it's like clack clack, and you're awakened to the reality of what this culture is.
Yeah.
And that was his full on inspiration, was the enlightenment.
Yeah.
Enlightening us to like, yo, look, listen, pay attention to what's really going on out there. There's a bunch of fucking suckers out there that are fucking raping this culture.
Yeah.
You know, colonizers, appropriators, and you know, that was the gist of it, man. Yeah, man, it was very deep knowledge that guy would spit.
Yeah.
You know, and fill us up. It was like feeding us knowledge. Every time you would talk to him, like I said earlier, it's a 4-hour conversation.
Yeah.
With you're just listening. And if you try to get in a word, you're not going to. You're going to listen, and you're just going to take it in. So you may as well just sit back and enjoy the ride, because that dude will school the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
He was there. He started this shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Okay. The next question is, we'll start with Riff. What's a memory that you have of FaZe? Could be just a funny memory. Is there anything that pops out into your head right now?
It's a lot of memories I have of him. It's not just one memory.
Is there one that you would like to share, or too many to kind of talk about?
It's accumulation of a lot of things that we shared together. So it'd be hard to just pick one out.
Alrighty.
You know, it was very special, just like CHOR Boogie said, being in his presence and around him, because we was always kicking knowledge to one another. You know, about how long this culture would last, and which way this culture would go.
Yeah.
And, it was so many things, and it was definitely up to each individual. You know, he'll plant the seed, but it was up to you to feed.
Yeah.
And if you fed right, you would get the knowledge. If you didn't, you would go another way.
Mm.
So it was totally, he would give you something to think about.
Yeah.
And when he gave you that something to think about, it was up to you to really come in it real full-fledged or half-step. And if you half-step, you didn't do what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, what you set out to do.
Mm-hmm.
What was true to this culture. And I guess I was kind of more moved around him because he told me I was special before I even knew who I was in the culture.
Mm.
So it's so many things that I just can't pick one out. But I picked that out, that you know, meeting him for the first time was very enlightening.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Riff. Apex, same question for you. Is there a particular memory of FaZe, or kind of like Riff? I know you guys really knew FaZe quite well, so I'm sure it's kind of hard just to kind of pick down one moment.
There is, you know, a lot of different things, but piggybacking on what I was saying before about just like culture, life, and changing. You know, somebody growing up on the West Coast, you see photos and images from famous photographers, whatever, of a certain time period or moment. And there's there's a couple, but you know, there's these photos of what you think it might be, what people might say about it versus what it really was, you know?
Yeah.
And there's one thing I remember being like, yo, And then when, as soon as you react, then he unloads on you with a whole nother like that. We were just talking, and he was like, yeah, we would wear the long trench coats, the black trench coats, because you go to the yard first.
Yeah.
And you go paint. And then after you leave the yard, if you got any paint on you, you can use shoe polish or whatever, marker, whatever, and you can black out if you got paint on your jacket. And then you can step into the club after, and you was fresh underneath. You take the trench coat off.
Yeah.
And now you fresh at the club, because he was like, we was all about going dancing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know that connection that, like dancing, like not break dancing, like dancing, like that era, that time period. And that to me was just like, what? Like people thought like, oh, you was fresh and going to the yard. Nah, they was fresh going to the club after, but they had to kill time between the house and the club. So, okay, let's go to the yard right quick. Let's hit that, get up, and then we're going to go to the club after, and then we're going to, show up. Because we're talking about the time period of emceeing and dancing and, the whole look. You have style, you have to represent, like, where you from and what you're about, like how style represented the whole package, not just painting in the yard.
Yeah. So
there was a functionality to that look.
Yeah.
Of wearing the long jackets.
Okay. And CHOR Boogie, same question to you. Any particular memories of Phase that are sticking out for you?
Yo, man, you asking a crazy question.
I know.
Many, but that dude was just a loving man. Like the guy really cared for this culture, man. Like he really cared about it, especially his brothers, man. Like he really cared. Like he really gave a fuck about this. That's why it was like it was so he was so intense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember that intensity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That loving intensity. Like I said earlier, when he said, "What planet are you from?" That's like that was the first that started that memory.
Yeah.
Then it was a snowball effect after that. So I just have to say that I have many memories. Every time I come to the city, like him and Riff, boom, they're there.
Yeah.
I call, boom, they're there. They're like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If they're busy, they're like, okay, we'll be there. You know what I'm saying? They're always there, man.
Yeah.
And and from going to the vegan spot, eating vegan food, eating vegan Chinese food, to just walking around the city, man, and just Phase just breaking everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah, just giving you love, brotherly love, and and like we've been saying, it wasn't only just about writing; it was about everything.
Yeah.
From all the way down to kung fu flicks. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude was a master at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But I'll tell you my last memory. My last memory is, basically, he couldn't talk at the end, really.
Mm.
But he gave me a call, and, it's kind of hard to understand him, but, he was talking, and it was very low, and, I can sense something was going on, but he didn't want us to know.
Yeah.
So he didn't let us know anything. And we're thinking this like, maybe he just got up to take a cough drop or some shit, but no, it was bigger than that.
Yeah.
It was bigger than him, apparently. And so, like, you know, but then after, you know, after I hear the news from Riff, I'm like, I'm bugging the fuck out. I'm thinking, dude, fucking faked his death and shit. You know what I'm saying? He was an artist. You know what I'm saying? Plus, we kind of talked about it a bit. But, like, to fool the art world. But, some of his last words to me, this is what I remember, some of his last words to me were like, you know, when are you going to paint my portrait? And I didn't put two and two together. I didn't even know, because I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, come on, man, like, I got you. We've been talking about this for like 10 years. And so, well, I got you, man. Like, yeah, it's no problem.
Yeah.
And, are you sure you want me to do that? And he was just like, yeah, it'd be an honor. You know, okay, that's no problem. And then, you know, if I would have known what was going on with him, I would have done it, like, boom, like that.
Yeah.
But we didn't know. So now I'm going to do it. It'll be an honor for me to do it for him.
Nice.
And that's my last memory of Phase 2.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that.
That, and he didn't like the motherfucking G word. No graffiti up in this motherfucker. None. None at all. Like, that's every conversation. Like, if that word comes up, like, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
You're going to get it, man.
Yeah.
You know, there's no defending it. Like, there's not, like, when you talk to him, you know you shouldn't say that. You know you shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
But that is like, that was a part of his foundation, man.
Yeah.
Of rebuilding a foundation.
Mm.
You know, because they you know, the word has been played with. The word has been played with, but yo, man, he knew what it really was.
Yeah.
He knew what this really was. And it's an art form.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Chor Boogie.
No problem.
That was very insightful. So what we're going to talk about now is, I'm sure most people would know this. Riff and everyone else, can you guys talk about FaZe and his involvement within hip hop?
Oh, his involvement, he was engulfed by it. He totally lived it. He danced, he DJ'd, he MC'd. But his real first love wasn't even that. His first love was music, singing. You know, he was a hell of a singer, but he never got the chance to record a real R&B song like he wanted to. But he did made a hip hop song at the Roxy, and a lot of people did go out and get it. But he was just special.
Yeah.
You know. And I know that's how he's seen that in me, because I guess he's seen parts of myself and parts of me inside of himself. And that's why he told me what he told me when I first met him.
Yeah.
So that made me feel very appreciative that this brother that was a little older than me bestowed upon me.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that, Riff.
You're welcome.
Is there anything you guys want to add about FaZe and hip hop?
You recording us both?
Yeah.
That FaZe and hip hop. That FaZe was before hip hop.
That's what.
Yeah.
That was it. 10 years. Way before hip hop.
Yeah.
Hip hop wasn't even a concept.
In the last couple of days, you know, been able to hear people just kind of talk about that, you know, and that's something that just resonates. So like, just try to fathom that you know, before a whole scene, at the ingredients of it bubbling up. You know? Like that right there is boom.
Yeah. If there was a fucking Mount Rushmore hip hop or the culture in general, that dude is, his face is the pinnacle carved out of that wall, like the head carved out of that wall, like Abraham Lincoln's is facing you, boom, face two, boom, facing you. That's it. Then you got the rest of the forefathers.
Yeah.
But then also, you know, something else that's been like resonating. I've talked to different people yesterday, just kind of sitting down and looking out at the world, and when people, if you look at anything on social media and the amount of different people that pay respect to him, that if you don't see it yourself, if you never hear the story, there's a reason why that respect was given out.
Yeah.
And it's because one-to-one, people know that either their mentor, either directly or indirectly, they are connected to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even, you know, from DJ Premier, even art world people, like, you know, we live in a world that doesn't always openly, freely speak on one another and their quote unquote accomplishments or whatever in that light.
Yeah.
But in this moment, it's like a little window opened up, and you get to see, like, oh, wait a minute, all these different people paying respect is because they were moved by him.
Exactly.
They were influenced by him one way or another, and it's across the fields of what is quote unquote hip hop.
Yeah.
He was very prolific, man. Like, the guy was a renaissance man. He was bigger than hip hop, man. He was a renaissance man. Like, he could do many different things, and like, he was a master at them.
Yeah.
Yeah. He helped create a culture.
Yeah.
Who does that shit? Like, really, who does that? Like, yo, change the fucking alphabet, and the world's like, holy shit, you know? And they're like, whoa, we gotta do though. We're doing that.
Yeah.
Change the perspective of an alphabet, the perception of an alphabet, and then later on, then you got all, you know, then it's influencing people that are like, damn, well, if they can do that with an alphabet, let's do this with freaking characters. Let's see how far we can take that. So
yeah,
I don't care what did you do, letters or characters, or, you know, you just doing something abstract or beautiful. You know what I'm saying, with a spray can. If it was touched by the forefathers, yo, man, you got to give it up to them, because they laid the foundation.
No, that's understandable.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks, guys, on that. Riff, this question is for you, and I know I asked you before, and you're like, come on, man, I'm not going to be able to remember that. But what was the first Phase 2 piece that you saw, whether it be on a train or on a piece of paper?
And like I said before, I can't really say that because we wrote together a lot. So
yeah.
I don't remember the first pieces that we ever did, you know, when we wrote together.
Okay.
So that's like over 50 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to take in when we did a lot together.
Yeah.
For all the people that think I'm just blowing smoke, you get on my Instagram, you'll see all the stuff I did. And
that's not even half the stuff.
The same amount of stuff. Yes,
yeah.
It's not even half the stuff, but it's a good amount of stuff.
Yeah.
So to even, it's like so much, it's almost like a computer. If you overfeed a computer, the computer can cut off.
Yeah.
So your mind locks some of the stuff that you do away at times, and it comes back to, you know, very vaguely.
Yeah.
So you just can't say right away, or you just don't remember right away.
Yeah.
But somehow the pieces come together at a different time other than this, and I might can tell you that.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to start with CHOR BOOGIE and APEX for this one. So yesterday was a phase of service. How did you find that? What were your guys' thoughts on that? Because it was quite a powerful evening for everyone there.
It was knowledgeable, man. Like, yo, man, there was so much history there, from the beginning of this culture, and like just the stories that were being dropped, like the love that was being dropped, you know, it did kind of seem like, you know, cats was dropping their own resumes, but you know they were still showing. At the end of the day, they were still showing the love for FaZe. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I gotta big up Scheme for his what he did was like that shit was amazing.
Yeah.
Riff, Riff's brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
Zonk.
You know, but the main thing that stood out were his kids, man.
For sure.
His kids were like,
yeah,
there was some really deep issues going on there, like sensitive issues.
Yeah.
They like really like revealed, man, but it was like still they loved their dad, man.
Yeah.
And they got his back.
Oh yeah.
You know? And he loved his kids, no matter what.
Yeah.
And down to his grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
His grandkid was there.
Yeah. No, that was pretty cool.
Or two of them were there. But like, you know, just hearing all that history, man, was just freaking live. Especially, you know, when Riff's brother called dude out, was like, "Yo, don't say that G word." You know what I mean?
That's that.
That was it.
But like for me, in that whole process yesterday, like what Chor was saying about the history, to bring perspective, you know, like for us right now to be sitting here with Riff, to know Riff, to call him a friend, a brother, you know, like to know True, to call him the same thing, to know a Vulcan, to know a Coco, like to know these people, that are innovators, originators, birthers of this culture that I practice in, that I live in, that I live off of, to how many people, cultures, that you're in, can you say you have family with the people who originated it,
right?
Who innovated it,
right?
You know, just to bring perspective, you know, and not too many, and there's not too many cultures you could do that in, you know? And to sit, even though I'm explaining this to you, the feeling in me is not complete yet of deciphering that feeling. Yeah. But to sit in the service and to hear things that predate hip hop from people, to sit back and go, oh, you did this when you were a young teenager, before you even technically a teenager, you're 11 years old, 10 years old, whatever. Like these people just jumping in and then leaving it because it was just something that you did, like collect baseball cards. But instead of baseball cards, you were writing and you helped to reflect, bounce off of one another. That, you know, people that you might have never heard of that played a part for the Riffs, the FaZe, the Cocos, for them to be who they are, you know, and for it to be just a memory from 50 years ago. To me, it was just like, I'm sitting in the room, it's like, yo, you had a whole nother life that had nothing to do with this, right? And I'm over here like, this is my whole world, my whole life, and you like, so just that perspective, you know, sitting in the room yesterday and really just appreciating that and soaking it up. Just really just soaking that up, you know what I mean? And that is something that was amazing to watch.
But it was still very emotional, man. Like,
for sure.
I was freaking crying my ass off because I'm like, yo, man, my brother's gone now. I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna miss those 4-hour call conversations, those battle text rap, you know, all that stuff, man. Just hugging the dude, you know? Like, I'm gonna miss all that. Like, I can't even believe it. I Like I said, I thought Riff said, I thought the dude faked his death and shit, man. But no, he didn't, man. Like, it's real.
Yeah.
You know, it's the pinnacle of hip hop, pinnacle of this culture. The aerosol culture, like, gone.
Yeah.
And you know, like, yeah, I was crying, I was bawling, like, you know, I couldn't hold it back. I was trying to too, like. But,
Yeah, no, there was a lot of emotions yesterday.
There was, man.
For real.
Yeah, but I had to do it. You know.
Yeah.
It just it had to come out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Because, yo, it's just, I don't know, it's just a natural thing.
Yeah.
Something like this happens to, especially somebody that you're really close with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, you know, somebody that you love.
Yeah.
Genuine spiritually, man.
Yeah.
Genuine spiritual connection with that person. And that was going through the whole room, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say that you know, somebody made a comment about like if any of y'all caught feelings that he didn't talk to you for a couple months.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
That 8-hour, 4-hour, 12-hour conversation, whatever you had with him, was because now he's talking to somebody on another part of the world.
They brought that up.
He's having this soulful one-to-one connection with the next person. And then now he got back around to you, and he's giving it, and he's picking right back up from the last time that he talked to you. He's talked to you, which then he's creating this, you know, visually, he's creating this spider web of people, seeds being planted, true knowledge being planted.
Aerosol internet.
And then just that you know, it's right back to, it's not just style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole thing, you know. So that's something that also in that period was really interesting. Just kind of sit there and as soon as that person said it, was like,
Everybody was laughing. They could all relate to certain things, man. Everybody, like the whole room was laughing. Like just going to the freaking to the vegan Bodhi. You know, vegan spot. Everybody was just busting up laughing because they all been there with them.
Yeah.
You know, they got the text messages, they got the emails, they got everything. Everybody was treated the same.
Yeah.
You know, but like, he had a special connection with each and every one of them.
Yeah.
Each and every one of them. Yeah, man. But that is real.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, brother.
All right, Riff.
Riff.
You did close down the service yesterday. You're the last one to speak, which was a very powerful and emotional thing for everyone, especially coming from you. What did you want to? What were your thoughts about his service?
I think his service was very emotional, like CHOR and Apex said. Left, you know, everybody came away with something.
Yeah,
you know,
that's for sure.
Something heartfelt.
Yeah.
Something that stayed on your mind.
Yeah.
And it came about with a lot of knowledge that he had already built and distilled in each and every one of us.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a real exclusive thing for a brother like that, even though I couldn't even believe that he had really passed. When I was told, I asked the question, "You sure?" And I looked at myself, I wanted to punch myself in the face, you know, that I even said that, you know, "Are you sure?" Of course the person was sure because it was his mother.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, she was a sweet lady.
She wasn't upset with me.
Yeah.
She just said, "Riff, I see you're not taking it well." And that's what he told a few people that were there, that I wouldn't take it well.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, each person, most of them understand we were that close. You know, that was my brother from another mother.
Yeah.
And whenever you lose anybody dear to you, sometimes your reactions are strange.
Yeah.
Unheard of, you know. But like CHOR said, that was our connection, me and his. We both felt we wasn't from this planet, you know, and that's where that concept that when he meets somebody that was just as talented, he would ask or say, "What the fuck planet are you from?"
Word up, man.
You know, because it wasn't just doing what you do; it was more so going out there and creating the best that you could do.
Yeah.
The most important that you could do.
Yeah.
Not just doing something and thinking that it was going to be the best.
Yeah.
It was going out there and putting your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And like I always told people, they tell me, "Oh, you wanted to be known." No, I didn't want it to be known. I just wanted to do the best art I could do.
Yeah.
And being known, of course, your peers are going to know you because everybody in the culture fed off each other. But they mainly fed off the foundation of the tree, which was me and FaZe.
Yeah.
And then we had a lot of branches.
Mm-hmm.
And dudes branched off from what we were doing already.
Yeah.
You know, because you could look at a lot of people's work and you could see something that FaZe created in their work, or you could see something that I created that's in their work. You know, not saying that they're not good or anything, you know, but when there was nothing, we created something.
Yeah. Well, that's for sure.
Word up.
Okay, Riff. I'm going to start with you for this one. So, since the name of our podcast is called Not the G Word, there's still people referring to style writing as graffiti. And how come Phase 2 really despised that word? Can you shed a little bit of light on why he felt that way?
Well, the both of us and a few others felt that way because it was like a derogatory statement, you know, name placed upon us because, you know, to scrawl and scratch, if you really take a look at what we was doing, there was no scrawling, there was no scratching.
Yeah.
It was full-blown color.
Yeah.
Like a motion picture movie coming right at you. So, you know, it was like they were trying to say what we were doing was garbage.
Yeah.
And that wasn't so.
Yeah.
So we didn't choose to eat that word because we created this culture. And we get to name it.
Yeah.
And we called it writing.
Mm.
And after a while we called this aerosol style writing.
Yeah.
We chose the medium, which was spray. Now, a lot of artists all over the world are trying to use spray because of a bunch of kids that use spray.
Yeah.
And made it an art tool.
Yeah.
So you got to give that credit and that genius to the kids of the 70s.
Yeah, for real.
Because we even made a tool that you cover up mistakes with into something that you make art with.
Yeah.
You know, other artists used to use paintbrushes and stuff. We use markers and spray.
Yeah.
So, you know, and we were the first advertisement, so we deserved to get a piece of that rock. Because we put that advertisement on the metal canvases and it went all over the place, and other people are doing it today on the subways.
Yeah.
Having their stuff advertised.
Yeah.
We advertised ourselves, but they're advertising their products.
Mm. Well, thank you for that, Riff. It's always insightful to get more history and insight from you. CHOR Boogie and Apex. Is there anything that you would like to say about Phase's dislike of the G word?
Why is it gotta be phase?
We don't like it either.
You know.
So.
But no, it's yeah. Go ahead.
Really, it. You know, growing up on the West Coast,
Start with phase. Yeah.
You know, Vulcan came at me about it.
Yeah.
Why you saying that?
Exactly.
And then I'm like, yo, like, wait, hold on, we cool, right? Like, cause they come at, they come at you like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, yo, like, what? And then it's like, okay, oh, my bad. You know what I mean? We fam, like you pull that word out. You know, you might as well have been calling me out my name, myself. And then once it's explained, it only takes once.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody said it yesterday. Growing up, you come into another artist.
Yeah.
You see they got paint on them with markers or whatever, and you go, "What do you write?"
Yeah.
And I remembered that.
That's right.
You know, I remembered that, and I was like, "Right, we were writers. We are writers because we are writing our name."
Yeah.
And that was the question that was asked, not this other word.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So for me, when that was when the barrage of using that word happened, then I remembered like, oh yeah, it was always like, yeah, we writers, you know, like just young kids, and then, which then, you know, now fast forward, boom, all the conversations around it made me really start to look at it from a social standpoint.
Yeah.
And what Riff was just saying. So within a culture, you have or movement, you have youth from quote unquote a marginalized section of a city, birthing something new, and it's not part of the standard way of the land. Something new is coming out of something that is supposed to be death, supposed to be marginalized, it's pushed off to the side. You the bottom of the barrel bench player. You ain't supposed to be the one coming up and hitting the magic moment for the game, but that's exactly what happened, and they revolutionized the whole game. You know, when it comes to art world stuff and music and everything else. Powers that be in control have to try to keep their control. So then they're going to put a name on something that's either going to evoke a feeling consciously or subconsciously in the people who are practicing it and the people who are watching it, so that they can keep their status quo.
Yeah.
And so using the G word does that. Even today, when people aren't even aware of it, this is like the subconscious battle of what that is. So now, okay, you are trying to paint a canvas, you're trying to paint a wall, you're trying to do something else with it. Same thing that you were doing before, you're trying to do something else. There's already, because of the language, because of the spells, the spelling of this word, there's already a connotation that's over it that you're not supposed to be trying to do this other thing.
Yeah.
Because from jump, what are you kids doing? You're not supposed to be making something out of nothing.
Yeah.
That's what kids do. And that's what these guys did. These guys and women, that's what they did. They made something out of nothing. And it was writing, because you're writing your name and changing the meanings of it, changing the perceptions of it, changing how it looked, how it formed, how it connected, building a community out of something that was supposed to be fractionalized. And this whole thing came out of it. So all of this that I'm saying and more is the reason why FaZe didn't like the G word.
Yeah.
It's that. It was to suppress a movement that he was birthing.
Yeah.
So why would you like a name given to you that you didn't choose for yourself?
Yeah.
You know, it's like somebody calling you out of your name.
Yeah.
That your parents gave you.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're a sucker, you don't accept that.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it was. Like, you know, the G word, like, it's like saying the N word.
Yeah.
How I kind of looked at it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like what Apex said, it's like calling you out of your name. You know, I'm not gonna bullshit. I played along with it. I was down with it. Like, we grew up that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know no better. We were fucking kids and shit. So we grew up that way, and we accepted it for what it was because we didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, unplugged from the Matrix when you meet Phase 2. Boom.
Yeah, for real.
Once that happens, then we were like totally like re-educated.
We was in Phase 1.
Phase 1.
And then Phase 2.
Yeah.
But initially, Vulcan initiated it.
Okay.
He broke in the initiation. We got initiated by Vulcan because he had to break it down.
Yeah.
And then because he was broken down by Phase 2. So it's all in correlation and relation. So, you know, the G word is like, is not what we do. That's okay. understand, and understand that I did that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking grown ass fucking silverback now. Like, you know, it's like we live off of this. This is what we do. Like we make a living off of our artwork. Some people can make a living off the G word. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I make a living off my art.
Yeah.
So, and I'll let that take me wherever it takes me. When it comes to the dynamics of what Apex is talking about, and you know how it's being used systematically, then yo, go for yours, man. But I'm not gonna do that. I know the truth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that word is dirty. It's grimy. It's grimy, you know, and some people like being grimy. Some people like being dirty.
Yeah. And
I gotta have the acceptance for that.
But
that's me. But FaZe, fuck no. You ain't coming through the door. And you know, and I respect that even more.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, he's right. 110%. We're artists. We didn't really have a chance to name this.
Yeah.
They called it writing, but you know, FaZe came up with many different names. Hieroglyphics, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, parabolic aerosolics. Like, come on, like, yo, I call it modern hieroglyphics. I create my own name. I'm a fucking artist. You don't have to tell me what it's called.
Yeah.
I'll create my own terminology for it.
Mm.
Modern hieroglyphics is what it is. Like, we create symbols, imagery, letters, and we're telling stories on walls, and we're carving that shit in that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We're telling stories with what we love to do.
Yeah. No.
And they've been doing that shit since the beginning of time, if you want to get technical.
Yeah, yeah.
But, yo, man, but we're doing it with a spray can. So, we started our own timeline.
Yeah.
And now it's like, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And it's almost like, okay, some people be like, oh, we're turning a negative into a positive. We're turning a negative into a positive. I'm like, you know, sometimes, you know, what you think is good is not really good for you.
Yeah.
You know? And what is bad for you is bad for you.
Yeah.
But, like I said, man, to each his own. Like, it's kind of a power by numbers game.
Yeah.
There's so many, that word has so many power by numbers behind it versus the handful of motherfuckers that would burn the shit out of all them motherfuckers, though.
Yeah.
And those handful of motherfuckers those handful of artists, FaZe gave these two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And will annihilate.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
There's hands down, no doubt about it. I put the stamp on it. Guaranteed, 110%. But you know what? We're humble. We're at peace. Like, we go for yours. Do your thing. Make your money. Do your thing. You know, you let money, fame get in the way. You know, you're going to learn your lesson.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson. He learned his lesson. He learned his lesson. We've learned lessons going down that path.
Yeah.
You know, still learning lessons. But it's like, you know, we do what we do. They would do what they do.
Yeah.
Next. Next. When I hear that shit, next, because we've been to many interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Asked about that. And I go from my education, from what I've learned.
Yeah.
And let it be known, like, no, like, that's not what it is. And they're freaking, like, they're, like, totally, like, enthralled because they're like, oh my God, there's, like, this whole other side, but the side that was originally already there, they didn't know nothing about. So when you school them on it, they're like, oh my gosh, I always thought it was graffiti.
Chore Boogie, we got 20 seconds left till this video ends, and I gotta restart it again. It only goes for an hour. Just didn't mean to cut you off.
You know, fuck graffiti. Modern hieroglyphics. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, hey, much power to you. Do your thing, man.